Hi, welcome back to Asian Fempreneur. This is Rani Hari. If you are new to this podcast, welcome. In today's episode, I feel called to talk about why right now, especially for us in the Northern Hemisphere, is a good time to restart our New Year's resolutions. In life, there's a season for everything. We are going to look at it in the lens of Ayurveda, which is one of the ancient spirituality system from Asia, or specifically in the South Asian region. Without further ado, let's get on to it. Do you remember the resolutions you made during New Year days? And you might try to go through it for some time, but then for any reasons, no judgment here. You failed to do it. You just stop doing it for any kind of reason. I've been there. Well, recently I got this epiphany moment, you could say, that right now, since we are approaching summer, as the weather is starting to get warm, at least in the UK and in the northern hemisphere, you know what? This is actually the best time to restart our New Year's resolutions. And why do I say this? I've always have this interest in Asian spirituality and traditional ancient systems. One of them being Ayurveda. And in Ayurveda, there is this concept of doshas, where everything, including our body, the time of the day, even the time of the year, is governed with these doshas. Now, there are three doshas: Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Vata, dryness, airiness. Pitta, this fire and water energy, power, heat. And then we've got Kapha. Kapha here is a bit of an earth and water. And usually it's about heaviness and being grounded. The best way to memorize these three are like having an image of air, fire, and earth itself. Although it's definitely more than it, but just for easy remembrance, I would use the word air, like Vata, Pitta, Kapha, air, fire, and earth. So how is this relevant with the time of the year, right? Well, let's start first with January 1st and why whenever we try to do things in New Year, 1st January, and that like it just didn't came through. That's because during winter time, especially like late December, early January, it's the time of kapha. It's the time where things are started to get calm, to get grounded, and it's a resting time basically. It's time where we recharge, where we rest after a full year of activities. That's why bears, if you see bears, they hibernate during winter time because it's cold, and that is the time to supply of food reduces. So, like by nature, of course, there are there are food supplies from all over the world, and transport's made easy these days. But if we're talking about the natural cycle of things, winter time is the time where we rest. Then we go to the around February till May-ish. This is actually spring. Like it's still cold, but the sun is starting to rise. The days actually getting longer, start to get longer and longer gradually. And this is spring, like signifies spring is coming, which I would equate it with the vata itself. And vata being, yes, a bit dry as well, but this is the time, if we think of a person where like this is the time where we start to reflect on the possibilities, imagine new ideas, imagine new possibilities, which is perfect during the vata time. And why ideas, I'd say? That's because it's synonym with the word air. Like That's how you I don't know how else to describe vata. Like it has this air like quality basically. So that's why when it comes to ideation, because vata time of the day, it starts from 2 a.m. in the morning and until 6 a.m. That's the first vata time. And if you notice, especially if you wake up very early during those times, you are in a very that time of the day is uh very productive. If you're learning something, you get more downloads, you learn new things quicker that time. And that's why spiritual people, they try to meditate during those days, because the effect they got during those time, it's much higher compared to if they do meditation in other times of the day. Let's say, yeah, even if you're familiar with Dalai Lama, he actually wakes up during around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. It starts with morning prayers and then meditations and whatnot. That's because there's beneficial effect of wake up early, very early. And then, well, there's also the second vata time, which is around 2 p.m. till 6 p.m. And when it comes to work time, this is the best time to do assignments, tasks that is encourage us to use our creativity. This is where the creativity flow or juices is supposed to hit better. If we are not hit by sleepiness, that's usually what happened. But that would be something off the top. Like that would be something we can address in a future topic, in a future episode. Okay, that's Vata. Coming back to the time of the year, summer, because of the sun is at its highest, the day is way longer. This is actually the time where we are designed to go outdoor and we are more productive. Like we've got more energy to do things that we want to do, time of action. And that's why this is a Pitta time. This is a perfect time to start doing our what we want, like, or what we wanted to do. Maybe you have this New Year's resolution of, let's say, learning something new, maybe improving your coding skills. I would invite you to take a look at this AI tools called ARDS Mentor, where if you don't have anyone that can help you study or learn coding, this is an AI based tool like ChatGPT, you could say, but it's more specifically geared for people who want to learn coding, as well as they want to check their knowledge on coding itself. I will put the link on the show notes below. If learning how to code and improving your skill is something that you are looking forward to, then I would invite you to check it out. It will also let you know which area that you need to improve through this PDF report that it can generate for you. How about Kapha? There's the third that's the third dosha, right? Like what about Kapha? Kapha comes after summer, so I would say sometime around between September to December, I would say. And that's where you start to wind down. Even the sun is also start to wind down. The day starts to get shorter and shorter. This is the time where we ground or like integrate what we have done, what we have achieved, what we got during that 1 year during the Pitta time. We integrate and then get ready to recharge. And this is during the autumn time, fall time, right? Like again, fall and autumn, this is the time where we basically in our, how do you call it? Like getting ready to end the year basically. Like doing last minute things that, oh yeah, we need to do this, like okay, let's try to finish it by fall. And just before we close the year. And then the cycle goes on again to Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So just to make things easier, if you're confused, um, Vata, that's the time uh, where we can start to imagine the possibilities of what we can do, what can happen, and then going to Pitta, that's Pitta time during summertime. Oh, Vata time is during, yeah, late late winter, springtime. That's the time where we idea, like think of an idea, going to Pitta time, action time during summertime, and then going to Kapha time during the fall and then early winter. That's Kapha time, time to integrate, time to ground, time to rest. And then the cycle goes on again. So now you know why we don't incline to start new things during 1st January, especially for those in the northern hemisphere, because that is not the time designed for that. So imagine if we can utilize the environment around us, that actually will supercharge our ability way even more. Okay, so that's for the northern hemisphere, right? What if we live in the southern hemisphere? It's the same thing. It's just that um, January, because it's gonna be summertime for people in the southern hemisphere, this is actually perfect because then it's gonna be a Pitta time for you. And now that's it's May and then going to June, I believe you are already starting to go into the winter mode soon, and this is the time for rest basically. So it's just the same thing, but in reverse. And what about those who don't have this seasonal, like 4 season things? Let's say if we live in tropical places, I would say every day. Every day is the best time to start something new. But I wouldn't blame myself too hard now that I understand this whole dosha cyclical time and how it affects ourselves. Like, yeah, if we say relapse in this new habit or something, well, it's just not the time to start. Maybe we should see what's going on around us. So, yeah, there you go. That's it for today's episode. If you're on YouTube, please do like or comment below what are your strategies or how do you find the whole experience of setting a New Year's goal, New Year's resolution, and whether you get to follow through or not. So until the next episode, bye bye.